Hello, it's Maryon Stewart. As promised, I'm on live today to answer some of your questions. So first of all, I'd like to thank my Midlife Switch group, particularly the new members for coming this week, and also for everyone who's sharing their stories. And I hope that you're benefiting from communicating to each other and seeing that you're not the only one suffering. You're not suffering in isolation, and the awful things, the extreme symptoms that are happening to you are not exclusive, and it's very common for women to have all sorts of problems. I'm really touched, as I said in my text, and saddened to hear these stories. I know I probably should know all about them because I'm treating women all the time, but when you see one at a time, somehow it's a bit different to hearing repeatedly about the suffering that people are literally having to go through every day of their lives. And it's sometimes so scary because you don't even know that there's an end in sight. You don't know that there's a way to overcome these symptoms because no one's ever told you that. And even if they did tell you, you may not believe them. And you certainly may not believe that it's all based on published medical research. So I just wanted to talk about a few of the questions, and I don't want to make this too long because in the new year I'm going to be starting doing webinars regularly, and I'm also going to be launching the new book chapter by chapter so that I can talk about that and make a film every week and invite some other experts on the various aspects. And I'm going to share the front cover of the book with you next week because it's all happening behind the scenes. It's very exciting. So we should have the book's in 3 parts, and we should have the first part finished next week, and the third part is finished. It's just being designed, and so I'm sort of tweaking the bits in the middle, so I've got quite a lot of work to do. But it's really, I'm really excited about it, and hopefully it will help so many people as the year progresses. So I'm going to put my glasses on now, which I don't normally do to broadcast, but anyway, because I can't read without them. So I made a list of some of the questions. There was a general consensus this week, I think, from some of the women who particularly had gone into an early menopause about the fact that it was scary, and they were having things like panic attacks and palpitations. And in fact, I think one person, I think it was Kim, said that she took hormone replacement therapy for 5 years and then she was left to fend for herself because the doctor didn't have anything else to offer. So it is a kind of a really scary place. Trying to give you a one-off solution to all of the things isn't going to be possible because there's lots of different factors, and obviously everyone's different. But generally, to sort out things like panic attacks and palpitations, you need to make sure that your diet's good. And I've done this for years, even before 1990, with women who were having palpitations and panic attacks when they were premenstrual. So one of the first things you need to do is cut out caffeine. And that may not be too easy if that's your comfort, tea and coffee, and chocolate in particular. But the caffeine actually exacerbates the palpitations. Now, it can get worse for a few days because as you come off caffeine, it's a bit like a drug, you can get withdrawal symptoms. So you should really maybe cut down gradually, maybe put yourself to bed if you can for a few days for the weekend, get a good book or some good movies and just go with it. What I tend to do with the program when I'm working with people individually is I build them up with supplements to make sure their nutrients are on an optimum range. And there are some things that you can take to help with cravings. So I tend to boost them with those kind of things to soften the blow when they're withdrawing from things. But that's one of the things. Another thing is to do some formal relaxation. So the clinical trials show that if you do 20 minutes at least of formal relaxation a day, you can reduce flushing by 50 to 60%. I mean, that's huge. So what I tend to do, and it's sometimes quite difficult because we're busy or we don't know how to switch off, so I tend to, for people that can't meditate easily and can't switch off easily, I recommend an app called Pzizz, P-Z-I-Z-Z, which you can download onto your phone. These days you have to pay for it, but there is a free trial for 2 weeks. and you can have a go at it, and you can adjust the sound and the voice and various different things, but it's scientifically based, and it takes you into a really deep, relaxed state and then brings you out again, so you feel like you've had a proper sleep, even in 20 minutes, or half an hour, better still. But I find if you're feeling really panicky, then to go and do something like that just takes you into a different place and helps to calm those symptoms. So you can have a go at that. Just trying to think what else I could recommend just off the cuff. To eat wholesome food, I'd say, to eat little and often, and make sure that you're eating good food, and maybe split your meals up so you've got some snacks in between, and that gives a constant supply of good nutrients through to the brain and the nervous system. So that's it for that on that subject. Let's see where we got to. Deb was asking about exercise, what kind of exercise and how much. And I think exercise is good at the time of the menopause, but it depends where you're starting. If you're not fit at all, if you're feeling absolutely terrible, then there's absolutely no way that you can go and do aerobics or run a marathon or whatever it is you're trying to achieve in your mind. You've got to maybe start off just doing 5 or 10 minutes, maybe dancing at home to your favourite music. You know, if you don't like to be seen, or you're not fit and you're a bit embarrassed about it, or you're a bit overweight, then start at home. Maybe do it with some friends or your kids, or put a DVD on or something. I just put the radio on and go for it and do my workout, which I absolutely love. And I try and do it at the beginning of the day before everything else happens, and or I get too tired and it becomes impossible. So, but everyone has to fit it into their own regime. But exercise actually releases these lovely feel-good hormones called endorphins. And so, again, it helps to calm you down, and it helps to take you to a better place. And obviously it will help to build your fitness and make you feel better about yourself in the longer term. So there's no hard and fast rules about exercise. It's just what you feel you can do. If you're feeling isolated, then it would be maybe a good idea to go to a class once you are fitter, so you have the social aspect of it as well. But it's really just a question of what suits you, and it isn't a competition. It's different for everybody. So the main messages today are to eat as healthily as you can. Make sure you've got 3 proper meals a day. Make sure you've got snacks in between. If you feel that's too much food, just cut down the portion sizes a bit. So you've got a nice, steady flow of nutrients going through to your brain and nervous system. Add in maybe some naturally occurring estrogen, and in the form of soy, and we'll be talking more about different kinds of estrogen, how much and how often later on as we get going. But I'm going to give also, between now and the end of the year, I'm going to give some tips for staying cool during the holidays. So I'll be coming on regularly talking about that, and then we'll be kind of warming up for the initiative in the new year. So hopefully I've answered some of your questions today. I will come back and we'll talk a bit more in the next few days. But please keep sending your questions in. Please keep liking the group, and please keep recommending it to your friends and family if they are at this particular life stage. So hope that it gives you a bit of hope above everything else, and that you feel free to communicate to each other and just make the most of the group. Tell me what you want, because in the new year I'm going to be looking for all sorts of experts, some medical experts, some inspirational experts, to come and share their wisdom with us as well. And hopefully this will be a really exciting initiative. I'm excited about it, and I hope that you feel that this is a good place to be. So bye for now, and have a good weekend.